This is a ton of food for a single meal. There is no way you'll be hungry after downing all of this. What's up guys? Readiness Rations here with you again, and today we're going to be checking out a super interesting international military ration. This is the Chinese People's Liberation Army Type 20 Combat Ration. The Type 20 here is China's most modern military MRE. The example we'll be digging into today, though, is extra special because it is a B variant. They are both A and B versions of these Type 20s, and the B is specifically for cold weather environments. So these variants have more food and a different variety of food than you'll find in an A version. So the Chinese Type 20 here has a size that's about equivalent to a US military MRE. However, it does feel a little bit heavier in my opinion. It's labeled Type 20, single soldier, self-heating food. That's menu number 1. And as I mentioned a moment ago, this is a Category B cold area ration. The calories provided by each meal are 20% higher than those of a general purpose soldier self-heating food. These cold zone Type 20 sound pretty stacked. They include a contents list as well as nutrition data. This ration was packed in 2023, and these are rated for a 24-month shelf life, so we're getting pretty close to the end here. We also have instructions for that ration heater. Now let's get into the kit here. Our first item is a weird little cellophane package of anti-fatigue food, 40 grams. It has sort of a jelly-like texture, and it is a dark caramelized color. That is super unique. Can't wait to try it. This thing is labeled 4-piece non-edible plate. They put a plate in a retort pouch? I've never heard of that. We have a little baggie for measuring the water for our ration heater, a pack with a spork and napkin, a 10-gram package of ginger honey seasoning. This feels pretty soft. This oddly lightweight package just says candy pack, and there is one tiny little thing inside of it. 25 grams of black bean chicken chili sauce. That almost sounds like a seasoning packet that you would encounter in like instant noodles. Here's our tightly vacuum sealed refreshing effervescent tablet. 60 grams of crispy cucumber. I'm guessing that's sort of like a pickle. 30-gram bake energy bar. And this thing is super light for its size. I expect that to be very airy. Finally, we have our 2 main entrees here. They're each individually packed in an insulated sleeve and flameless ration heater bag. Let's see what this first one is. 280 grams of fried noodles with mushrooms and braised pork. That sounds so good. Oddly enough, there's no heating pad included with our ration heater bag. Let's see what this next entree is. That is 290 grams of green bean and beef fried rice. Again, a super tasty sounding main entree. Let's just admire the quality of these retort pouches for a moment. They look outstanding, and they have a really nice gusseted bottom, which should be perfectly designed for eating straight out of the pouch. Let's see exactly what they meant by 4-piece heater plate. Now that's really cool. They individually packaged the ration heater bags, 2 per main entree. It's a really great idea to vacuum seal package these heating pads. When these are exposed to air, they absorb moisture and degrade over time. So by keeping them tightly vacuum packaged, you'll extend the life of the heater. So we put a heating pad on either side of the entree and slide that all back down into the ration bag. We have our convenient measuring bag here. So we put the exact right amount of water in the ration heater, fill that to the line, and then that goes in the heater bag. Whoa, that instantly started reacting. It didn't even take a second and this thing kicked off and is blowing really hot steam. It's hot to handle. Do my best to slide that back down into the insulated outer pouch here. Whoa, that is a violent reaction. On our second entree, I'm leaving it in the insulator. And just as instant, that one kicks off as well. These are crazy strong ration heaters. So since we have both of our entrees cooking, I think it's time to get everything else plated up and dig in. These heaters are insane. They have to be the hottest ration heater I've ever encountered. Yeah, look at that. 200 degrees, over 200 degrees. That is ridiculous. I'm actually gonna sit these to the side so we can look at some of our other items. I spilled a little bit of ration heater water, so I guess we'll try out our napkin here. Hey look, there's also a toothpick in there. That's kind of neat. This napkin is super flimsy, quite small. It's more like a tissue consistency, 2-ply, but it is barely even there. Super light. Soak up some of this water. I think this one napkin's basically shot after just that little bit of water. Yeah, that's basically useless. I suppose we'll get into our crispy cucumber here first. That was very easy to open. That looks less like cucumber and more like some kind of greens. Doesn't have much smell to it, maybe just a little bit pickly. Yeah, that's looking like Chinese mustard to me more than it does a cucumber, and that has a bit of brine in it as well. Crack open our baked energy bar. Wow. What the heck? Man, that is weird looking. They put a little do not eat desiccant in there. It's like chunks of bread sort of formed and pressed together. It's ultra lightweight though. Let's see what was in our candy pouch. Oh, look at that. Just one giant piece of gum, I guess. Looks like a jumbo chiclet. I think this effervescent tablet might be the most interesting single item in the ration. Look at that big old pill. It has some sort of kanji stamped into it. It looks a lot like a vitamin. And essentially that's exactly what it smells like, a giant Flintstone chewable. The directions on that call for 250 milliliters of water. Do we pour the water first and then drop the tablet in it? Or do we drop the tablet in the glass and fill it up with water? I guess we'll go water first here. That's about 250 mils. I think I'll crack this tablet open. Nice snap to it. There's the inside. And we'll drop that straight into the water here. And look at that bubbling up. It's coloring the water a slight brownish yellow, but it is super fizzy and effervescent like the name would suggest. It reminds me a lot of an Alka-Seltzer tablet. Smells a little lemony, but quite vitamin-y as well. Look at all that scum on the top. The appearance is pretty grotesque. It appears to be dissolving very quickly all on its own, so I don't guess we have to do any stirring. We'll just let it sit and do its thing. I say we get right into one of the most odd items included in the kit, the anti-fatigue food. Look at that, it's like a weird, sort of slimy jelly bar. The smell is very light, and I would say maybe a little raisiny. Wow, that plop. Ooh, it has a weird sticky feel on the outside, sort of slick and slimy, very gelatinous, but we can sort of squeeze it and squish it, it breaks, like an agar-agar jelly kind of. Look at that cross section. Just a weird jelly. In 35 years, I've never encountered anything quite like this. Let's try it out here. Cheers. Very soft bite. It's a little bit gritty, but dissolves really quickly. It has sort of a deep caramelized kind of flavor. It almost reminds me a little bit of like a boba, but it doesn't have that satisfying tapioca bite. It's more of a gelled mush. Flavor-wise, it's very light and subtle. Has a chemical aftertaste. It's pretty sweet, but immensely weird. I would have to imagine this contains substantial carbohydrates, and the idea behind it is a lot like the energy food that long-distance athletes consume. Just really quick, easily absorbing carbohydrates while you're on the move to, of course, fight off fatigue. I just keep going back to it. It's almost like it's growing on me. This thing's actually pretty good, although extremely bizarre. I think our entrees have been thoroughly heated at this point. The heater bag itself is still extremely hot. 180 on the pouch, that is wild. Let's rip into this first one here. That is our fried noodles, 280 grams, and it's all compacted into sort of a noodle block. Wow, it just slides right on out of there, super slick. Oh man, that aroma is outrageous. Mouth-wateringly savory, so porky and inviting. Next up is our rice. Sort of pale looking for a fried rice. That too is just sliding right on out of there. Very slick. And once more, a powerful aroma. This is a ton of food for a single meal. There is no way you'll be hungry after downing all of this. So let's get a closer look at our rice here first. Sort of break it up. It is all really compacted in that retort pouch. It's fluffing up nicely here though. We have little bits of beef, and that seems to be pretty evenly distributed all throughout the rice. It has green peas, and they look extremely cooked. Some little shriveled up carrot bits, and then these thin brown bits I suspect are the mushroom. That is a substantial portion, and the aroma that's putting off reminds me a lot of the smell you get from Russian field rations. It just smells really natural and beefy. I guess we'll go right in for a bite. Make sure we get a little bit of everything. Heaping spoonful of retort pouch fried rice. Here we go. Scorching hot. The rice is a little gummy. The predominant seasoning in that is white pepper. That comes through pretty heavily. Wow, it's actually really good. It has an adequate sodium level. When you run into the beef, it has a nice little chew. Those green peas are a little bit dry on the inside. The flavor on this is pretty subtle. It doesn't punch you in the mouth, but it is quite nice, and I would say substantially better than almost every US MRE I've ever eaten. Really tasty. Our noodles here had a far more fragrant aroma. They are tightly compressed, looks like a thick lo mein style noodle, and it appears to have quite a bit of this pork in it. However, this pork looks to be sort of a jerky consistency. It looks extremely dry. It's really too much noodle for the small compartment on my tray. Aside from the noodle, we have mushrooms. There's a little flake of red seasoning here and there, but that is about it. Wow, that is a pretty ridiculous sized bite. Fried pork noodles. Yeah, man. Hell, those are so good. Very savory. They have a really good sort of roasted chashu pork kind of flavor. Delicious. Wow, that has really left me almost speechless. These are so good. The noodles are a little bit on the gummy side, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to have a little bit of chew with a noodle. The mushroom has a really pleasant chew to it. Let's get just a piece of the pork by itself here. Extremely dry, a lot like a pork jerky, but has a sweet soy sauce flavor with just a little bit of char in the background. Really tasty pork, and when you have everything together with the noodles here, you don't even notice how dry that pork is. My opinion on this is improving after every single bite. It is so good. Now let's get a taste of our beverage here. I don't know why it looks like it has black pepper on top. We'll give that a stir just to incorporate some of those little peppery looking bits there. Can't say I've ever had a ration drink that looks like that. It looks more like soup than it does a refreshing beverage. Cheers. Lemony, a little bit. Definitely has sort of a vitamin-like flavor to it. It's a little bit sour, not really sweet at all, maybe just the slightest bit of sweetness. I'm not detecting too much salt, so I don't know how much electrolytes are in this. It does have a little bit of an irony, minerally kind of flavor though. Those dark bits might literally be iron. I wouldn't be surprised. I guess the closest thing you would compare that to is drinking a multivitamin. That's pretty much what this stuff is. Is it good? No, not really. But is it palatable enough to consume? Yeah, I'd say so. And probably a good way to get some vitamins in the troops. Now let's get a closer look at this pickle. It said it was cucumber, and I thought it looked a little bit more like mustard, but now that I'm getting a better look at them, these do look like cucumbers, sort of cut on a bias, very thinly cut cucumber, sort of paper thin pickle chips. Down the hatch with that one. Very salty, quite sour. Really crunchy, as the name would suggest. I love Chinese pickles. Anytime I go to the Asian store, I come home with some. And this has that really salty, briny Chinese pickle flavor. There might be just a little bit of sweetness. No heat, really. Delightfully sour, though. Really good pickles. Let's get another scoop of our rice here. And we'll put some pickle on that. The extra salt, the tangy vinegar, and the crunchy pickle go great with the rice. The rice's flavor was pretty subtle on its own, so giving it that extra little punch really helps out. And I guess we'll try just a little bit with the noodles here too. Why not? That goes together really well too. I think you could put those crispy cucumber pickles on literally anything to make it better. We have a couple sauce packets here. This one is our black bean chili chicken sauce. I think I'll try it straight on the sport here first. That looks like straight up chili oil. Sort of like a chili crisp almost. Very umami, a little bit of spice, nice and oily. That is great sauce, man. So good. I don't think they've ever put anything in a US MRE that would enhance the flavor quite as well as this would. I'm a chili oil fanatic anyway, and that's basically what this is. I know this is gonna be good. Man, that is a delicacy. It doesn't really want to come out of the pouch. Try it on the noodles here. Oh, so umami. I think that's the best yet. That is so succulent and delicious. I feel like I'm going to get arrested.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
And if that one seasoning packet wasn't enough, they also include a ginger seasoning. It's a thick, reddish paste. Sweet and syrupy, very gingery. It even has a little bit of that fiery gingery kick. I like that a lot. It's a little bit similar to the pickled ginger that you get with sushi, but not at all sour. Get a bite of the ginger with the rice. That is a great flavor enhancer, and we can't forget to try it with the noodles too. I'm really struggling for words here. I've had some Chinese rations before, and I've had rations from countries all over the world. This Type 20 is outrageously tasty, and it is a massive amount of food. This has got to be one of, if not the absolute best, single meal rations I've ever encountered. I'm beyond surprised at how truly excellent the PLA's military ration is. There's been some issues in the past, but at this point in time, China is feeding their military right. To be honest, you could take the chili oil, the ginger, and the pickles, mix everything together, and that would be absolutely delicious. The last item for us to try, though, is our super lightweight baked energy bar. I thought it was going to crack open, but I was wrong about that. It sort of had a soft break to it. Looks like little individual chunks of sort of breadsticks on the inside. Very interesting way to do a meal bar. Let's see how it tastes. Very soft. Again, I was expecting it to be a bit more crunchy. It's very light and airy, but soft, and actually has a little bit of chewiness to it. It's just sort of falling apart as I'm biting it. It has a cakey flavor. Very lightly vanilla, I think. A little bit sweet. It's very dessert-like, but more of a typical Asian dessert, not super ridiculously sweet, as we're used to here in the United States. Lightly sweet and pleasant. Really unique texture. This would be great with a little bit of whipped cream. Let's take a little look at our toothpick here. Doesn't get too much more basic than that. It does look like it is a bamboo toothpick. Nice sharp ends, does the job. And lastly, we have our big old piece of gum here. One individually packaged giant candy-coated gum. Smells minty. Very sweet and a very mild minty flavor. That's some darn good gum. Well, I have one heck of a lunch here to polish off cam, but that was the Chinese Type 20 self-heating ration, category B, for cold weather environments. Without a doubt, this is the best Chinese ration I've had to date, and it is most certainly near the top of the best rations I've had all time. Seriously delicious and well worth trying. I am super surprised. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up to help it out with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future military ration review content. Let me know what you thought about the review and the ration down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you then. Peace.